I will try to spend 1 hour on this topic. I will never finish this topic, just please remember, there's no end to these things. So, you remember last time I told you, when I get a new pattern, as soon as I know how it was made, I am trying to find out what can I learn from this pattern, how can I modify it, what can I do with this, okay? So this is what you're getting. This is one patterns on the wall in Hunat Hatun complex in Kayseri. You can find many patterns like this. You really can find them quite a lot. If you're just going through Anatolia, you will see that you are getting this type of maze very often. So let me to go through this and let me to see what we can do. This picture is just telling us with what we are dealing. You see, when you start with the point like this, this is the pentagon, a regular pentagon. You're just going around and you're just making a decagon, okay? It is not really important what is inside of this decagon. You can forget about this for a moment, okay? But just read this way. That is your decagon. Then you're going up, you're getting another decagon, okay? And something similar is here. So that's fine. But don't attach yourself to the part that is inside decagon, okay? Because this is decoration. You can put there whatever you want, okay? Now, from here, you're getting another decagon that is tangent to the previous one. So you see, you are getting a collection of tangent decagons. Another one is here down, okay? And this pattern is the interlace pattern. Okay, what this means, interlace? Interlace, this means lines are going like this, one over another, and then, okay. So, if this were a normal pattern, or normal, not interlace, you need really something that is just in this black rectangle. So I have it here, my black rectangle is here. First decagon is going here, that's the one here. Then another one is going here. And you're getting them this way. This is a very typical approach in Seljuk decagonal patterns. Very, very typical. So whatever you do, you have to start with the black rectangle, and you have to make this rectangle. Size of it. The size of this rectangle here, it is half of this length. And before they started anything, it was important to have the size of the space you have. In Ottoman geometry, it was even more strict. Seljuks were often cutting patterns. You can find many Seljuk patterns that were cut on the edge because they simply didn't calculate properly the size. So Seljuk did something simplified, but anyway, this rectangle, it is half of this width. And then a nice thing that you have here is this, a kind of star. this element is really very good and very important because you can play with this in many ways. Okay? If I just move it slightly up, okay, I don't need this. You can just say, okay, this line, it is somewhere down going like this, okay? So you can add some extra lines here. So, or you can go up. I have just read it. So that is what I am getting, okay? I am getting like this, and color of the line is black, and make it a bit fatter so you can see it, okay? And then this is another rectangle, and then you can play up to some moment, okay, and just get, okay, I think that's the proper place, okay, and then you can finish this. So this what I did looks like this. This is the second rectangle up, okay. Okay, so that's the second rectangle. No. So that is what you're getting, and the same you can just follow exactly the same pattern like in the mirror. I said this is very typical for many decagonal patterns in Anatolia, but not only in Anatolia. You see, if I take something from the past, just open it, okay, and open this part, okay. If you know Maraga, this is Azerbaijan, yes, the part of Azerbaijan that is in Iran. Azerbaijan is really in two parts, so this is this part of Azerbaijan, and then if I go, okay, to where I have mouse, that is the Maraga Tower. You have 10 panels, and this is just the shape of a regular decagon, and each side looks like this, okay? I'm saying like this because this is not really exactly the same. If you start doing the same what I did, it means drawing about the shapes, okay, then you will get a thing of this way. That's the pan. And that what you are getting. You're getting exactly the picture that we had before, okay? So one decagon, another tangent decagon, okay, then is another tangent decagon, and of course you have this part with these 5 kites, and you can find it here. You see, there is a column here, so you don't see really what is on the side of the column, but if you check properly good pictures, then definitely you will find that the pattern continues from one side to another side, another side. This pattern has 2 interesting features. One interesting feature is that I said you have decagon, don't attach yourself to decagon, because whatever you put there, that's up to you. Look what happened here. Red decagon. What they put here? two shapes like this, two hexagon, then is third one, and then the fillers for this. So they put different shapes, okay? Then here you're getting this, you're getting something similar, okay? Here you're getting something similar. So they didn't use this specific Anatolian Seljuk motif. They used something different. You can do whatever you really want as long as you on the edge lines from one side following lines from the second side. Lines must work together, okay? You cannot have breaks here. You cannot just bending lines. Well, again, that's not general rule. Sometimes we are forced to bend the lines. Sometimes, but not here. So Malaga Tower pattern was made just like this. And if you're getting things like this, if you have 10 panels like this, so you have 10 panels with tangent decagons, and the worker who is working with this sometimes can mess up. Because you see, if you have things like this, you can rotate it, let's say 18 degrees, and it will be looking different. But from the distance, the maze is still the same, okay? So in Malaga Tower, not all panels are the same. Some of them are a bit different because there were some, let's say, reorganizing the content of the decagons. But that's normal. Who cares about this? Especially a worker who is just putting these things on the wall, okay? For him, it doesn't matter if this is this way or this way. We can live with this. But I was on a conference in Baku, and this was mathematical conference, and some mathematicians started arguing, oh, that's a periodic pattern. That's a nonsense. The concept of aperiodic patterns does not exist in the patterns we do here, okay? Patterns are made out of rectangular panels, and edges of the panels must fit together without any bending things. This is really very good pattern, and you can play with this any way you want. Seljuks invented very interesting star, pentagonal star, that they put inside of a decagon like this. But this is in Anatolia only. I didn't see this in Iranian patterns. In fact, if you are going through Anatolia, you will find a lot of interesting ways of filling decagon. So that's what you are learning here in Anatolia. Okay, let's go back to the previous thing. Okay, what I did. Okay, here is one thing that is quite important. Okay, I will just do something strange. Now, I will just take, edit, select all. Okay, and now okay. You see, here you have the proper construction of this pattern. It starts from the blue lines. The blue lines, these are two pentagons, then there is a decagon, okay? Many Ottoman patterns, many Persian patterns start with this. And then what they did, one corner, another corner, they built decagon, another decagon, and they are tangent in this place. So in four corners of this pentagon, this blue star, you have tangent decagons, and this thing here, it is precisely this what you're getting. This is the popular scheme for producing decagonal patterns in Anatolia and also in Ottoman designs. Okay, so this is what you do, and then you're just filling everything. Now, I wish to go back to this page, and I wish to show you something that you cannot see in, let's say, any drawing. I will make it bigger, okay? I will make it bigger so I can show you whatever I really need. Okay, edit, select all, okay, and now, okay, I am happy with this, what I got. The pattern from Maraga Tower has special feature. Look at these lines here. Okay, that is in the background a very different pattern. It is hidden in the background. I don't know any other pattern with this particular feature that you're getting here. If you get a really good photo, high resolution and high size, then you will be able to check this pattern and see what is this. But this internal pattern, this background pattern, is a very interesting exercise for developing. It is a really nice thing. You can just see how it looks. Two lines are passing from the edge. Then they are crossing like this. Then you're getting next two lines, okay, and crossing again. They forming inside a regular pentagon, okay? And each of these shapes has inside special pattern, and this pattern is just joining, okay? So if you remove the main line, if we remove these thick lines, then we'll see completely different pattern hidden in Maraga Tower, okay? And you will not find this in any literature. I don't know even a single picture where somebody was recovering this thing. Okay, let's go. So this is where I left our previous Seljuk design, and then what we can do. I said this segment, this is half of the width, so there should be another one and another one. I will come back to it because, because what I really need to do with you is just to play with the geometry. Edit, select all, and then, okay, I think we'll be fine. So this what you have on the screen, this is something that is strictly geometric, the golden ratio. First thing, you know how to construct a regular decagon. That's not a big deal, okay? You know also how to construct two tangent decagons, okay? So suppose that you are starting with this point and this point, okay? And you're saying, okay, I wish to make two tangent decagons. This is what we had, Okay, so what you do, you're just drawing a segment, rotating up 18 degrees, rotating down 18 degrees. In the middle, you're drawing lines, and then these 2 points are the 2 points between two tangent decagons. So if you have these 2 points, then you can create tangent decagons quite easily. Okay? So that is what we are getting. Construction of regular decagon, it is simple. Okay? I don't wish to waste time because it will be too much talking. I wrote here golden section. In decagonal patterns, especially Seljuk and Ottomans, golden section is the key. You cannot live without golden section if you are doing Ottoman design. It's absolutely impossible. Okay? So, first thing, what is golden section? If you just take regular decagon, if you draw a segment connecting a center and a point B, and then if you draw segments to the middle of the edges, you will get these lines and you will get these points. Okay, J, I, okay, no other way, H, I, J, and this one is K. Okay, I can move them a bit, so you will be fine with this. Okay, so what we can do, okay, I don't want this way, and then you see where the points are located, and K, it is just the red point now. Okay. So if you have a construction like this, then you can just consider lengths. For example, this length to this one to this one. AK you can treat as a base, okay? And then you will be getting numbers like this. AH, okay? AH to AI, okay? You will be getting 137. AAH to AJ, okay? You're getting golden section. That is golden section. That is golden number. And then HAH to AK, you're getting number like this. So in fact, we have three different numbers. One of them, the middle one, is this what we know from school mathematics, a golden section. But there are other two constants that are here listed, and we can find them also in Ottoman constructions. Okay, let me go to the right. So I will just... The construction on the top right screen, this is the construction of golden section. We're starting with the segment PR. Okay, this is our segment. And we want to divide it in two parts according to the golden section rule. So what we do, we're expanding this line, okay? We're finding the midpoint of this PQ PR segment. And then we're drawing a circle like this, okay? We are getting this point, and from this point, we are just drawing another circle, the big one, through this point. This circle and this circle are the same, okay? So if you do this, then this big circle will cut PR in the point Q. And you can just see that PR to RQ is golden ratio, and RQ to PQ is again golden ratio. So we have really three segments, because first one is the original big one, then the second one is this long one, and the third one is this one. So we have three segments, and lengths of these segments are forming something like this. PR, that's the long one, to the RQ to the middle one. Okay, we're getting golden section. And then RQ to the PQ, it is again golden section. It's a very good number, very useful, and we will see it in a few other places. Okay, so let me to go back. Okay, I have to just... So that's the tessellation that we can build out of our drawing. So what we have decagon. These two decagons are tangent, okay? Then you have another decagon, and this one are tangent. And of course you have things on the top. Here I am showing what is happening in this pattern that we got. Simply, this decagon was cut, let's say, in wrong place, because we got these things and we had to just save our skin. This is really saving our skin. No other way you can do it, okay? So anyway, in this tessellation, what we have, decagons, we have such a rhombi, very nice rhombi. Then we have a lot of them. Then we have a shape like this, okay? It is something not similar to rhombi. And finally, we have something on the edge which I call the filler. It is just filling the space. A specific feature of this thing that all these red lines have the same length. This is again typical for Persian design and Seljuk design in Anatolia. They often make patterns where a tessellation has all edges the same length. This is of course limitation, but we can change this quite easily. So now we know what we are getting, and we start putting this part like this, okay? And then I will be going one by one. First, I said the pattern in Kayseri is the interlace pattern, but we have to start with something simpler, non-interlace. So, for example, this shape you have like this. So, what you're getting, you're taking the midpoint joining them, then you have line that is reflection of the other one. Okay, I can just show you how it looks. Okay, just need a long line. Okay, so if I join these points, okay, so I got this line, and now look, this is the story of angles. If I reflect this, look what happened, okay? So reflection, how works reflection? This angle and this one is the same. So we are approaching this pattern with an angle like this, okay? And that is what you can put. So from each side of this rhombus, you're just drawing these lines, and you're just drawing common part of them, and that is fine. Okay? Now let me to see what I have downstairs. okay, a shape like this. You see, in a regular decagon, Anatolian Seljuks used shapes like this. Okay, that's a decagon. You can split it into 5 things like this. And this construction is incredibly simple, because what you do, okay, this is what you do. You're just connecting this point with this one. Okay, and then what you do, reflection, okay, transform, reflect. You see, we got to this point. And then reflection here, transform, reflect. Okay. And if you wish, you can just draw perpendicular line, okay, and use this perpendicular line to make a reflection. Okay, you see, the whole thing is just starts with one single line. We start with one single line, and then all other lines we are getting by reflections, reflections, reflections. Okay, this shape is a favorite shape for Anatolian Seljuks, but it was also taken by Ottoman designers, and you can find it also in Ottoman art. Okay, so you have to live with this, because this will be just your main bread. Okay, let me to go up. Okay, this is what you are getting out of regular decagon. If you take a regular decagon, if you put these things, okay, I need a regular decagon here, so you can see what we are getting. Okay, I just need, you see how it looks? That is the regular decagon, and that is the way how we are filling regular decagon with the shapes that we got downstairs. Okay, so if we have all this, then we can fill this tessellation with the pattern. Okay, and then this is what you will be getting. Okay, so that's where we are. Now, you have to look at a few things that you really need to know. Okay, here what we have, this is the symmetry line for this pattern, and it is fine. But please remember, there is no vertical symmetry line. So a thing like this cannot be put here, because we cut it in a wrong place. Okay, so you have to deal with this in different way. Okay, and how we can do this? Okay, this is what we got. Okay, and now this part you have to leave empty for the future. Okay, that's the best option. Leave it empty. Now what you can do, you can develop your pattern like this. Okay, and then you still will have all these empty decagons. You're filling these empty decagons by this motif. Okay, they will be in the middle, so you are not cutting them. Okay, so that is the non-interlaced version. Okay, if you want to make interlaced version, so you have to work a bit harder. I am sure you like this pattern. Okay, it looks really like a maze, and people from the West, when they come here, they look at this, oh, that's a mess. Okay, but you see the pattern is very regular. It has very good, very clean geometry. Okay, so let's go to the interlace pattern. For the interlace thing, okay, for the interlace thing, you have to deal with bigger approach. You have to take 4 rectangles. Why? You need a pattern where the left edge will be the same like the right edge. These 2 edges must be the same. Exactly, they must match each other. So then what you can do, you're taking a thing like this, you're moving into the right, and you're just sticking them together, they will be fine. The same, this edge and the top edge should be identical. If they are not identical, then unfortunately you will see that there is something wrong. So this is what you are doing when you are dealing, when you want to make interlace pattern, okay? And then you just do the same process like in before, but you have to develop the interlace elements to fill it. This is like making floor, okay? When you are making floor out of tiles, you're getting a number of tiles, each with different shape, and you have to match them. So these are the shapes. This is the one that we had before. Now this is interlace. Look how the lines, this line is going down under this one. Then this one is breaking here. If you look, if you take ceramic tiles, okay, you have to cut them in some place, okay, and then this line is going below this one, and so on. So you're getting interlace in a small scale. Not a big scale, but the small scale. But that is enough. So you have this pattern, and now, in this moment, you have to be absolutely sure that you know what you're doing. I wrote here 2 words, correct and incorrect, okay? What I mean, just let me to scroll down. Okay, just remember, I wrote here correct and this is incorrect, okay? And look what I'm getting. If I take this line, here this section, and if I take this section, you see the top part is fitting precisely with the top part this, okay? So this thing will be nicely combining with this. Here, you see, we did something wrong. Why? Because here you have pentagon and it is oriented to the right, but here you have pentagon that is oriented to the left. You cannot join your pattern if you have a thing like this, okay? Suppose that we are removing the bottom part, we are removing the top part, and we are trying to fit this part with this one. It will never work, okay? So this is the thing that we have to be very sure when we are developing patterns like this, just to make exactly the same orientation. But you don't need to bother about this, because this thing is in the middle. So here you can use any orientation you want and you will not spoil anything. So that's how the interlace will be working, okay? Let me to see what else I have here. I don't have much here, so let me to move to the okay. Here you have the remaining shapes that we need. So this is the shape for the, this is the pattern for the filler, okay? It often occurs in such place this is the pattern for the rhombus, and this what we know, and that is the pattern for this shape. Okay, it is like this. That is really all. If you do this way, then you get really nice. Okay, I didn't finish this, okay, but you can finish this on your own. Okay, so Seljuk interlaced patterns are the thing that we like. We know how to deal with them. Now I wish to move to something that I call simple kundekari. Kundekari can be quite tricky, can be quite developed. Okay, you really will have a lot of joy doing Ottoman kundekari, but even in Ottoman kundekari you will find examples that do not exist anywhere else. Okay, so we start in kundekari from something like this. Okay, we really don't need 4 panels. Okay, we can use one of them. Okay. Okay, so what you can do, sometimes you can just play with decagon this way. This is a very tricky part. The central decagon you can fill the way you want, but sometimes you can put 2 hexagons like this, then you will have the shape that we had before. Okay, and here you will have kind of rectangle that is tricky to be filled, but it can be done. Okay, so I just have to. Okay, maybe this way. I don't want to lose anything. Okay, no. This is approach from Istanbul, from İsmet Terzi. İsmet Terzi is one of the most famous designers, kundekari designers in Turkey. And this is what he has. These are the shapes for the polygons here. So he's using things like this for this thing, and things like this for this filler, and then these things. Okay, tool 1. Okay, call it tool 1. Okay, look, now okay, you're filling it this way. Then let's take, okay, I just don't need this. Okay, and now okay, and now this one. Okay, and now let's try to use it. Everything is fine, don't worry about this. Send this to back. So you're filling this space, and then you're just taking again tool 1. No. Okay, just look what I did and how it works. I was talking that the bottom part and the top part should match each other. So deliberately I selected this area and I selected this area. So they will be definitely matching. Okay, so this way we are keeping control on everything what you have here. Okay, and now okay, so this way we are filling everything with the typical simple kundekari design. But kundekari can be in many different forms, and you can start from here without any problem. I wish to go back to Hamle. Hamle Kundekari, this is company in Konya. They invented very tricky design. There is no other company, and I don't know any other person who was dealing with Hamle Kundekari. So, what I wish to do, to go to Hamle Kundekari. This is how they started. A triangle. This is part of the regular decagon, okay? Then this is for the rhombus. It's completely different. Okay? This rhombus is completely different than we had before. And then this is for the hexagon. Here you don't have hexagon, so you cannot use it. But this is how they made their hexagon. And then here you have a thing like this, the filler, but with their special addition. Okay, they added this part here, they added this part here. Okay, then whatever you have here below, scroll down. This is a specific decagon that you can find in specific octagon that you can find in decagonal patterns. It's flat, okay, and this is what I did for them. Okay, that's the part for the square or square rectangle that you have near the circle. Okay, and then this is for the rhombus, but this is just for the safety. Otherwise, they prefer to have a rhombus like this. Okay, that is their rhombus. The top one, top right one. What this way we are getting? If I take this rhombus, okay, and I call it Hamle rhombus. Okay, then what I can do, I can take this rhombus and I can start filling Do you see what you're getting? This is what you're getting when you start filling this nice pentagonal star with, you're getting inside big pentagon, which is quite fine, okay? And this is very unique. You will not find it anywhere else. There is no other company and no other designers who did something like this. In fact, they made a few patterns, a few doors with this type of approach, but this is more work than normal kundekari, so we have no way to use it more frequently. But it works, and it works very nicely for us, okay? Is there anything that I should tell you? Okay, so we can feel these things just like this. Now, let me to look at this, because this thing is interesting. If I take the shape like this, okay, Hamlet petal, so how it is fitting. It is coming nicely this way. Now in the middle there's gap. So I have one tool more that will give me 2 points. And now what I have to do, I have to take these 2 points. Yes. And then with the 2 points, I can get this shape. Okay. And now let's go there. Okay, there is something wrong here. Okay. Okay, so this way you're getting a proper rosette in this tessellation. And of course you can use other things to fill the rest. You will be fine. Okay, so this is what we have, our tessellation. Okay, here is another pattern from Anatolia that you can approach exactly the same way. You see, our decagon, it is going like this. Okay, so you can have, again, design based on tangent decagons, and you can use them this way. What about this one? This is another way of filling decagons. okay? But in this case, what you're getting, on the top there is written Circali Madrasa Konya, okay? And then what you have tangent decagons, just like this. One, then is another one, then is another one, okay? And this decagon was filled with the pattern like the one from Iran, okay? So from Maraga Tower. So that is this. And the blue pattern, a typical blue color for Seljuks. You see it very, very often in many different places. Okay, I think I am just approaching the end of this. I will see what else I have here. No, okay. Did I do anything? Okay, that's the design that you remember from our exhibition. That's a real physical work. So we saw this. The backside was looking like this, exactly, and the framework, these lines are looking like this. This is not pattern of the part of the pattern. This is just making it stronger, okay? But these edges are behind of. So this is how it looks in a real design. And then you have here a technical drawing. This is how the drawing looks. That's not the drawing for this one, okay? That is completely different. Maybe I am, no, that's the one here. No, we don't, in this design, we don't have a sword medal like this, okay? But otherwise, and here you have rosette, which is somewhere downstairs. Okay, we can look for it. Okay. Do we have, okay, so the rosette here, the one that you have here is not the same like the one here. You see, here you have regular pentagon, and here you have a petal, typical Ottoman petal. Simply they made mistake when they sent me these photos. Okay, I think this is all for the moment. There is quite a lot more, okay? But I don't wish to torture you. I can promise you that I will write everything on the paper, and you will get the paper so you can read one by one, okay? And there will be really more stages. Maybe we can make a video for it. So this is depending on the time that we'll have. Thank you.